I want to kickstart my collection. Should I buy wax or should I buy singles? We'll answer that question in this video. Wax or single? It's a question and an option and a situation that every collector comes across, whether they're new to collecting or they've been collecting for quite some time. So what does wax mean? When I think of wax, I think
wax on, wax off.
But apart from that, in the hobby of collecting sports cards, wax means an unopened box, case, packet of cards. The reason it's called wax is because in the 50s until around the 80s, cards were packaged in wax material. In the 90s, they started to change into the foil-looking stuff we're used to today. Single. What does single mean? When I think of single, I think
Dollar bills, y'all.
it can mean that, but as a collector, it is what it sounds like. It is an individual card. So, as a collector, you have wax or single. You can either open boxes and packs, or you can collect individual cards. In this video, we're going to break down the pros and cons of both options and look at which you should rely on as a collector. Before we break all of that down and deep dive into it, help the channel out, give us a subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button and share it and let your friends know all about it. So let's start off with wax, the pros. The big selling point and pro for wax is the endorphin hit. There's nothing quite like the rush you get when you open a pack of cards and you hit that card you want. Or that feeling when you have a pack and you're just hoping, wondering what's in it. That endorphin, that excitement, and it's something until you experience it, you'd probably never really understand. As a collector of things since the 80s and 90s, I have opened quite a few packs in my time at a young age, and the rush you feel and the rush in the moment is undescribable. There's also nothing beating having those cards straight away in your hand. Right then and there, as you've opened them, you have them there. You can look at them. You can spend time on them. That's something you always get and is always an advantage to opening wax. There's also that feeling that you are the first and only one to get a certain card. You are the only one that got that one of one. You're the first person to get that case hit. That feeling, that hope, that want, that drive that opening wax gives you is a big selling point for opening wax. The negatives, the cons to opening wax. As a Spurs fan, there's a phrase I tell a lot of people that I feel is very reminiscent of wax. And that is, it's the hope that kills you. So what I mean by that is, yes, there is an overriding hope that you'll hit something big, but the reality is 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to get the player or the team you want, and those big chase cards that you're hoping to get, realistically, you're probably not going to get. Another big negative and con on wax is it's expensive as fuck. There is no real return for value. As we've seen recently with the product reviews we've done, you're going to pay $400, maybe even $1,000. And your return of investment, your ROI, is so low. The chances of making the value back in that wax, so slim, so slim. There's another thing that's not really spoken about when it comes to opening wax. Yes, there's all the excitement, but quite a negative that I found is it's not really satisfying. You spend that money on that pack, that box, that case, whatever it can be, and at the end, you just feel dirty.
I think I need to take a shower.
You feel unfulfilled, you feel let down, and you start questioning what you could have spent that money on instead. Let's look at the pros and cons for singles now. Pros. You are knowing what you're getting directly to your collection. There's no qualms about it. The thing you want, you obtain, and it's in your collection. The spending is effective and efficient. You're spending the exact amount on that thing, and you get what you want for your money. Another pro is the chase of getting a grail card or a card you've dreamed of having in your collection is quite exciting. The hunting, the looking, the searching, and then bang, you find that card, you buy that card, and then that day when it arrives in the mail, oh, it's unbelievable. The other pro is there's no waste of other cards lying around. So as a Spurs fan, I haven't got all this Chelsea cards, Arsenal cards, West Ham cards lying around. I only want Spurs. So if I'm going for singles, I end up only getting Spurs. So what are the cons? It can be overpriced at times. You're usually at a situation where the demand is high for that certain player, that certain product, that certain autograph, that certain parallel. So it drives the value of that card up, and you can, at times, be spending way more money than you hope to. As I mentioned there, one of the cons really is competition. You are reliant on trying to win that auction, the buy it now, whatever it is. You're hoping to get ahead of all the other collectors and get that item before they do. So it can be a little bit stressful if you are chasing certain cards or trying to get grail cards in your collection. The other con that goes hand in hand with that is since there's so much competition, there can be quite a bit of disappointment. You're looking for that card, you're hoping for that card, you find it, but Jack over there beats you to it. So there's a sense of disappointment, annoyance, and then you got to try and start the whole process again. The last con about singles, and I guess this encapsulates collecting altogether, quite often the price you've paid for that card isn't the price it's going to be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years later. You really wanted that Mainu auto, you paid $100, 8 months later, it's only worth 40. It's a harsh reality, but it is a big reality when it comes to collecting. So that's the pros and cons of both wax and singles. Which should you go for? Well, before we look at which one really is the best for you as a collector, I've got 2 spoilers for you. Spoiler number 1, manufacturers of these products want you to open wax. They are reliant on you opening wax. Doesn't matter what the price of the product, they hope the hype is big enough that you will go and splash that $300, $400, $800 on their product. They want you to feel like this is the only way to get the card. But as someone who's seen cards since the 80s, doesn't matter if you open that wax or not, the cards always find their way onto the singles market. So just remember that. That's spoiler number 1. Spoiler number 2 is probably a little bit more of a niche one, but it's one that we also need to address. There is tons, like fucking shitloads of content online saying, can I make a profit from this box that was $600? Well, spoiler, you don't need to watch that video. You predominantly ain't going to make a profit. Like I said earlier, the return of investment, the ROI, is fucking slim. It is very slim. So after I've loaded you up with all those pros and cons and spoilers, where do I sit? A simple way of looking at it when it comes to wax and opening wax, it's a lottery ticket. You are buying a ticket in hope that today is your day and the number gets called. That's the reality. If wax was affordable and made and priced at a point that you could justify it, then maybe it wouldn't be such a heavy lottery ticket situation. But it now is a lottery situation. If you're looking for an adrenaline rush, a hit of those endorphins, you've got a bit of extra cash lying around, and you can justify spending the hundreds of dollars on some wax, go for it. But before you do it, be honest with yourself and be honest in knowing that your ROI and your end feelings aren't going to be complete. So if you're serious about collecting and expanding your collection, shop for singles, shop for cards individually, build your collection one by one exactly how you want it to be. It's so much more worthwhile. Financially, you're going to be better off, and the end result is you're going to be happy. Collecting is fun, but you've also got to be smart. So be smart about things when it comes to either choosing wax or choosing singles. Comment down below. Let me know. Are you someone that likes to buy wax? Or are you someone that likes to buy singles? Or do you like to do a bit of both? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys as always. Hit me up in that comment section down below. This has been Totally Football Cards. My name's Jeremy. Yeah, buddy. Let's get it.